Okay, let's go. You know, there's no book to figure out how not to become a victim of police brutality. Yet high-handedness by unscrupulous police officers endures in my country. 3 years after a countrywide protest provoked by Endsars protesters, brutal reactions by police officers are yet to abate. At least as we speak, 15 protesters arrested in the wake of the violent protest in 2020 are still being arbitrarily detained and without trial at the Kirikiri Medium Correctional Centre and at the Ikoyi Medium Security Correctional Centre, all in Lagos. Now, is this deliberate? But first, let's share the story by TVC News' Nelson Etta about the situation with you. 3 years after.
If I see thief, I know what thief wants. SARS wants to kill me.
Since its inception in November 1992, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, one of the 14 units in the Nigeria Police Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department, created to detain, investigate, and prosecute those involved in violent crimes such as armed robbery and kidnapping, operated freely in Nigeria with little or no supervision, regulation, or recourse to human rights.
I come back at night. Police will be telling me that where did I get money to buy my vehicle? They'll call me prostitute. We cannot do that. I work too hard for my money, man.
Stop killing our boyfriends. Stop killing our children. Stop. Mothers are crying. Stop killing them.
The high-handed nature of the unit left a grim, bitter taste in the mouth of many Nigerians. Officers of the special unit were accused of extortion, abuse of fundamental human rights of suspects, unlawful arrests, torture, and in some cases, extrajudicial killings.
It turned out that individual cases of abuse, rights violation, extrajudicial killing, brutalization, police high-handedness became the subject of investigation.
The incident that triggered the protest was the shooting of a young man in Ugeli, Delta State, by the police. This unleashed anger in citizens against the police, leading to protest by angry youths demanding an overhaul of the police force.
We can safely say that at some point in 2020, October precisely, the youths of this country rose to the occasion. They responded to what you could call impunity, orchestrated and sustained by institutions of government, cohesive institutions of government.
What began as a noiseless protest on social media with the hashtag Endsars soon became a national and global phenomenon, an organic, leaderless, apolitical and non-religious protest was born. The Endsars protest.
It's the first time I'm seeing Nigerian youth as a united entity.
The youths called and the government listened. The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, not only joined the protest, he took the demands of the youths to the then president, Muhammadu Buhari, and the president responded.
I would like to use this opportunity to say a word on the recent genuine concerns and agitations by Nigerians about the excessive use of force and, in some cases, extrajudicial killings and wrongful conduct by men of the Nigerian police force.
In response to the demands of the protesters, on the 15th of October 2020, the then Inspector General of the Nigeria Police, Mohammed Adamu, announced the scrapping of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS.
Following a review of the current developments and in due cognizance of the wide and legitimately held concerns of well-meaning citizens on the existence and operations of Special Anti-Robbery Squad as a responsive and citizen-oriented police force, it is hereby directed as follows. 1. The Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigeria Police, otherwise known as SARS, is hereby dissolved across all formations the 36 state police commands, and the Federal Capital Territory, where they currently exist.
Adamant to the imposed curfew, protesters gathered at the Lekki toll gate. However, what the nation did not prepare for was the aftermath of that night. As part of the resultant impact of the preceding night, on the 21st of October 2020, while Nigeria's most-watched talk show Your View was broadcasting live, TVC News' Mian Akere was out on the street to give live update on the pulse of the youths. Little did he know that that day will mark a turn in his journalistic career.
Thank you very much, Mian. Please stay safe. I see you're not geared up. Please stay safe. Take cover as much as you can. Okay, we're told that hoodlums have entered our studio. We had to cut off the show. We couldn't continue the show. We are going off now, and we're trying to get safe. Hoodlums have entered TVC, and they're attacking. They've started attacking us inside the studio. I had to cut off the show, and we couldn't go up. We can't continue the show right now. I don't even know what to do.
This is crazy.
See, guys, see.
Like, they've set the bus on fire. They've set TVC bus on fire.
Hoodlums invaded TVC Communications, burnt down the world-class digital broadcast studios, bringing the show Your View to an abrupt end.
I was at the forefront in Lekki, where the police and the youths had a tough confrontation. I was chased with guns. Some people, thugs, who felt this is what we deserve. And the picture says it all. This is what is left.
This was one of the best studios, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa. But today, it had been brought down to nothing.
3 years on, here at the Lekki toll gate, men of the Nigeria Police, the Army, the Road Safety Corps, the Civil Defense, and LASMA are here to ensure peace and safety of lives and property as Nigerians go about their daily businesses.
The Lekki toll gate stands as a beacon of hope, a convergence for change and a call for liberation. For days and nights, young people across all walks of life from different political and religious lines gathered here at the toll gates to protest against the brutality of the then Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigerian Police, SARS, with the hashtag Endsars. The Lekki toll gate stands as a point of reference towards the struggle for change in Nigeria.
Yeah. Jide, welcome back.
Thanks.
Yeah. It is said that memory is very unkind to an old man.
It is.
But I listened to you when you were recounting the events of the 20th in 2020.
Yes, and then the 21st.
21st, yeah.
Yes, our building was set ablaze on the 21st, but the fires began the night before. And a lot of those bank buildings on Admiralty Way, the bulk of the destruction actually came earlier. You know, that is why October 20 remains etched in the minds of most people, not just the people who believe in the Endsars agitation. But people can see the level of destruction that those who initially had nothing to do with the protest wrought on the rest of us. Police stations set ablaze. The vehicles of belonging to Lamata That is talking about BRT
damage.
vehicles set ablaze.
Yeah.
And you know how much it costs, to procure just one of those vehicles. They set ablaze, literally speaking, billions of naira. They set ablaze court buildings, destroyed evidence, and they also helped themselves to some of the things, because here at TVC, they looted TV monitors, looted computers, everything that they could help themselves to in the 3 waves of attack that they launched on premises on the 21st. I made a mistake when I said on the 20th. On the 21st.
The year didn't help matters at all.
Because it even sounded poetic. 2020, So they stole a lot of things. They destroyed a lot of things here. And anyone who saw that building before it came down, anyone privileged to have gone inside the building would weep at the level of destruction that these boys carried out. But we just have to learn from what happened. Learn from what happened in terms of securing key infrastructure. We have to do much better. Yes, we have to do much better. We have to do better at controlling incidents like this, keeping rioters at bay. We have to do better. The police has to be equipped to deal with the situation, not by killing people, but you can actually quell riots by not firing a bullet. So we have to learn. Endsars is 3 years on. We've got to learn. We've got to do things better. Otherwise, if we are confronted with this kind of situation again, we won't. We will be caught napping, and we shouldn't be caught napping. We should be able to control protesters, keep them at bay, ensure that they do not set us back in the way that they have done. And what led to the protests in the first place? Police brutality. We have to reform the police, ensure that never-do-wells do not find their ways into the police. The right people should be recruited, because this whole problem begins from the recruitment field. Recruit the right people into the police, reorientate them, get them to realize that the civilian is not an enemy. Maybe that, when we're able to do that.
The old slogan, the police is your friend, rings in my head even as And so you are looking at the next policeman and wondering if he's a friend, No,
people will argue that the policeman is not a friend by some of what they have done. And we want to see a completely changed Nigerian police, because that will be beneficial to everyone.
Doctor, is that a tall order, or we're asking for good, reforming the police?
Well,
is it difficult?
It's not so difficult. It's just that it's a Nigerian thing that we find it difficult moving from a point we have identified as bad to a point that is good. But in the last 3 years, I'll say we have achieved something. Why do I say so? We've had this situation in which
all right, let's do something about your mic. Jide, but you talked about recruitment into the force. That's where the problem is. But 3 years on, 3 years, not too long a time to have done something about it?
How about those who are already there? You have to continue to weed out the bad eggs, the black legs who are giving the rest of the police a bad name. You have to do something about them. And the welfare of the police has to also be addressed, because many policemen were killed. The people who stood firm What happened to them? Were they promoted? We need so people. Panti, for example, was not overrun. It would have been a tragedy if those boys succeeded in overrunning Panti. You know, it was not overrun. But what happened to
the station?
Panti, not Panti. They couldn't overrun.
No, Adekunle.
Adekunle is different from.
Yeah, Adekunle. Yeah.
So what happened to those people who stood firm? Policemen who showed courage and ensured that nothing happened. What happened? You know, history sometimes, if you do not do the right thing, sometimes people will not even know where you stand.
That's it.
Talking about history. You saw what Mayen did. He was reporting when it was very dangerous to do so.
He had to take it to his heels.
He didn't take to his heels. You didn't see the video. He calmed the guys down. They didn't show it to the end, and I expected that they would show it to the end. He was telling them, look, we are together. And of course, the journalist is not an enemy. Literally speaking, if you are complaining about police brutality, even journalists have been have suffered from police brutality. Victims. But some fellow would think that they were the only ones who had the courage to report the Endsars protest.
Yeah.
But you saw that video, you saw him right there on the day when many people sat in their homes. He was on the field. You saw Theophilus Elama being walked out of an Endsars rally. Yet some people wanted to take all the glory. That, oh, they were the only ones who covered. Of course,
whatever that means.
You cannot say that publicly except you are a practiced liar. You can't say that publicly.
All right, then, welcome back. Dr. As we were saying, fire is a great servant, but a very bad master on an ugly day.
Yes, when I first saw that clip I was really, really quite alarmed, because I sometimes wonder the kind of acts that will be inside a man that will make him to set ablaze a facility that is not just providing information.
You are wondering what a man who is on fire would do.
That does not just provide information, but provides a means of existence and living to several hundreds of people.
Dependents and all.
You know, so I just, sometimes I shiver and I wonder where we are as Nigerians. No human feelings, no consideration for anything. And then they also knew that people were inside that building, but they didn't care. So in the last 3 years, like the question that was asked, have we learned anything? Yes and no.
Okay.
If you recollect, just some weeks back, they said they wanted to hold a concert for the late Mohbad. That was almost going to go awry again, because some people are just bent on doing things the old way.
Yeah.
Because that is the only way they know how to survive. That's the only way
how
they know.
How do you leave Mori Okunola and all the way to go and converge on Lekki?
You know,
innocent people who had walked throughout the day
and wanted
to stop them from
going home
to their homes. What's the meaning of that?
It doesn't make sense. Have we learned? That is a no. But for some, they've also seen that, see, what we caused during Endsars, we must prevent now. Iyabo Ojo, one of the Nollywood actresses, is one of them. I think she has learned a lesson. Because while they stayed in the house during Endsars and were stoking this fire, those guys were just using the opportunity to do what they needed to do. For the police, some have learned, some have not learned. And it's amazing that 2 days back, a whole divisional police officer in Mira was caught demanding...
Extorting. Yeah.
For bribe, extorting a man. And even, he did not even just extort. He went further to, in a criminal manner, begin to remove stickers and all the rest from a man's phone that he bought with his money in order to destroy whatever evidence or link that man has to his property. That shows the kind of man he is.
Wanted to Appropriate
the whole thing so that the man has no link to it. If it was just collecting money, one would have said, okay, that's fine. But going to that extent.
So, in other words, a man like that shouldn't have been recruited.
He shouldn't.
No. And
He
then, you know,
shouldn't.
it's even possible for a decent man to be recruited into the police.
And but get messed up.
He can suddenly become animalistic in his behavior if that is the prevailing
situation,
idiosyncrasy in that place. So you see, people change. People change. Well, psychologists will say that character is formed before you are 21, but people change. Some of the people that we grew up together, that we felt we knew them sufficiently, you see some of them, you'll be wondering, is this the person that I used to know?
Is it the same fellow?
They may have been influenced by the things around them.
Yeah.
They say if you can't beat them, join them. The bad eggs in the police would infect even some good individuals. Except those good individuals have very strong character. The chances of being infected by the bad apples is very strong. It's very strong. It's just like a mob. You know, maybe you are not prepared to set houses ablaze, or somebody stokes the fire, and then you see others, they will join him like Mumu. They too will think that is the right thing to do. That's the way it is. So I know that it is possible to recruit good people. It is that constant reorientation
that matters,
drumming it into their ears and their hearts that the kind of police that we want is not a police that goes on killing people extrajudicially. If we check or molesting citizens, look at that one from Kogi State that was slapping a man in the presence of his family. You've diminished him just because you have a gun. And at that time, he had one funny beard like that. Adejo, what's his name? He had one funny beard. I said, oh, it is the height of indiscipline in the police for him to even be allowed to carry that ridiculous beard that he had. Why should you carry that kind of beard? So, slapping a man in the presence of his wife and children, just like that. I'm happy that the police eventually put him in his place. We want that to continue. There is...
But is it out of place to mention the other day when the market at Ladipo was reopened? An officer went in the open. Shooting into the air.
Of course, they've arrested him. You know one thing you must give the police. If I don't say it, my conscience will trouble me. In our country today, if there is any organization, any agency of government, any professional body at all that continually sanitizes its ranks, that continually punishes its own people who are guilty of bad behavior or of aberrant behavior, it is the police. The army, they don't punish people as frequently as we see the police do. Lawyers don't punish people as frequently as we see the police do. The NUJ or whatever, they don't punish their members who are guilty of bad conduct as frequently as the police do. We see the police, they even make a show of it so that others can learn. We have to commend them. We have to encourage them to continue to do that. Once you continue to purge your ranks of undesirable elements and you also ensure that you recruit the right people, not never-do-wells. Not people who join the police because they can't find something else to do.
Like the repentant bandits.
The police because there's no job.
Yes, there are people who join the police who will never do well. They know that they couldn't have excelled anywhere else, and they saw that they are recruiting people. They now went to join the police. They could be even be armed robbers.
Our collective history would tell Jide, myself, and you that in those far-off years, and I'm not talking about 100 years, one policeman would arrest a whole village. It was the power the police had. But that the police relinquished that power is the
Maybe,
matter.
yeah, it's because of indiscipline. And maybe one other point I would want to make, like Vicky said, we should pay attention to the welfare of our policemen.
Yes.
Very seriously. Yes. Something came up and I was looking at the papers of the MPF Pensions Fund Administrators Limited. And it was discovered that even somebody who retires as a commissioner of police, what it takes, that's the first lump sum, is so ridiculous because it is based on your last salary,
or pay.
The emolument. And that a lot of times will just be your basic, which most times is about 200 and something, 200 and something for a rank as high as that of a commissioner.
Some 90,000, some 120,000.
And maybe the man is a Lagosian and his retirement is in Borno State. So how does he even transport himself back? And that is why it's easy to say, let me help myself.
Yes, that's why they get involved in
all of these things.
Corruption.
Let me help myself, so that if the country does
pay
not
them
help
a living wage. So as simple as that.
I would have thought that what's the name now? The popular documentary, broadcast by a TV station in town about the police college was enough to have gingered something. If you remember what
gingered something at the time. Gingered something at the time,
but not enduring.
Not enough.
It's not enough.
The funding has to improve.
Must do more.
Yeah.
The funding has to improve.
More.
Quickly, one quick word about the 15 protesters still in detention.
Yeah, but we don't have the full details. There were Endsars protesters who killed people, and who are involved in murder. Do those people expect to be freed?
No.
If you kill, some kill policemen.
Even ate them in Ibadan.
Yes. There was cannibalism. So I don't have the details, but if you were involved in that, for example, and you are still being detained, I have no sympathy for you. So many funny things that these boys did on the day. You can't burn all of those BRT buses and expect to walk with.
Yeah, because at that point, no lesson will be learnt.
Oh, of course.
Okay then.